When I see the word humanitarianism, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Is it, man, that's a long word? Does it have to do with being a human? Is it community service? Clara, a staff member of Mercy Corps, a humanitarian aid organization, defines humanitarianism as a person who is able to identify people's needs and vulnerability with empathy for them. They're willing to go the extra mile to help alleviate the suffering of those in the midst of a crisis. This may not be the meaning that first came to your mind, but after hearing what humanitarianism is all about, you too will become an expert just like me. I have studied this topic for several days and have dived deep into the true meaning and actions of humanitarianism. Have you ever been a part of a community service group or have even traveled overseas on a mission trip? If so, then you've been a part of humanitarianism. You may have never thought of it as this, and you might have only done it because your mom forced you to, or because you wanted to go on a cool mini vacation. But have you ever really thought about the true effects on your own self and the true impact you made on the world around you? Today I will be talking about the psychological science of humanitarianism, one of the world's largest humanitarian aid organizations, and how humanitarianism has swept the globe over the years. You may only think of humanitarianism as an action, but have you ever thought about how the act truly has an impact on your brain? Taking part in humanitarian aid truly has a positive effect on not only the people you are helping, but on your own self. Volunteering can help you feel like you have a purpose and can help lower your depression. Self-focusing is an issue linked to depression, and when you're focusing on others and not yourself, you can actually lower your own depression levels. A 2018 article, In Helping Others, You Help Yourself, a psychologist says that being pro-social reinforces our sense of relatedness to others, thus helping us meet our most basic psychological needs. Studies have shown that generosity is linked to happiness in our brain. When we do a random act of kindness or a humanitarian act, our brain releases dopamine. Studies have shown that helping others with their emotions can help us with our own. When we reach out to our peers and help them get a grasp on their true feelings, we too have a better understanding of our own emotional and cognitive thoughts. Sometimes it just takes helping others to realize the true psychological emotions that we need to heal. Participating in humanitarian acts not only creates change in the people you are helping, but can also influence the way you feel and think about yourself. Now that you know more about the psychological effects of humanitarianism, let me share with you one of the world's largest humanitarian aid organizations. Action Against Hunger is a humanitarian organization that works all over the world to help with the causes and effects of malnourishment and hunger. The areas they specialize in are healthcare, clean water, and food. Just in 2019, Action Against Hunger helped over 7 million people in 46 countries. Through their humanitarian acts, the staff works to create connections with the family to help create a safe environment for them to live in. Currently, Action Against Hunger is working to help control COVID-19 in the areas of need. In these areas, the people are more concerned about getting food than they are about the actual virus. In the 2020 article, World Food Day 2020, a Syrian refugee says, "What scares me most is that we could die of hunger." In the midst of COVID-19, Action Against Hunger is focusing their humanitarian acts in areas that most of the world is not thinking about due to the current state. Action Against Hunger is just one of the many humanitarian aid organizations all over the world. Today, there are more than 4,000 organizations that are working to provide humanitarian aid all over the globe. But the real question is, how has this number increased over the years? And what are the current issues needing to be addressed with humanitarianism today? Although there have been increases in humanitarian acts over the past 20 years, there are over 168 billion people that are in need in just 2020 alone. This is about one person out of every 45 people on the earth. These needs are due to disease outbreaks, climate shocks, and armed conflicts, just to name a few. In an article written by the United Nations, journalists in Geneva says that in 2018, 12,000 people were killed due to conflict, and the numbers just keep getting worse as the years go on. Some of the most needed help in 2020 are dangerous and violent conflicts. The United Nations has declared Yemen as the world's worst humanitarian crisis. 80% of Yemen's population is in need of humanitarian aid, and the numbers do not seem to be decreasing. Many sources have stated that Yemen is in dire need, but for a price of nearly $3.2 billion. Many other Middle Eastern countries are similar in need of humanitarianism, but due to their large population, each country relief will cost as little as $520 million. The These statistics and facts show how, although our world has come a long way in over the years, there is still much more humanitarian aid needed, rising over the globe. Now that I have shared with you many different points of humanitarianism, let's review. Today I discussed the many parts of the word humanitarianism and how the large word has large impact. Now that you know more about it, the psychological impacts, the world's largest humanitarian aid organizations, and how many countries are still in need, you too are an expert on this topic. The next time you help a friend in need or travel the globe to fight hunger, you will be able to understand the true impacts of humanitarianism, how it has a true impact on you, and how you are helping the world around you.